Hey, I'm glad to see you guys came back again for our Chevy budget bill. And check out these Eagles. I don't know if you can see, there's one in that tree over there.
Hear that squeaky noise they're making?
Plus there's two in the sky.
They're like chirping at each other or something. That was something else.
Oh, well, that was cool. It's kind of rare to see one bald eagle, but let alone three all at the same time. Back to the truck. We did do a little work since the last video. The last video was dismantled pretty much. What didn't take too long. But we got her sanding down a little bit. We took away some rust, found some previous Bondo. We do got a little deeper rust here. We're probably just gonna drill a hole, weld it back in. So the truck's definitely been painted on multiple occasions because it's got green, blue, a couple layers. We went to town grinding away at a lot of these little rust spots that were rock chips in previous paint. But at a certain point you just gotta give up, otherwise you should just sandblast the truck, honestly. But we got these. I'm gonna fix these up. Yeah, but for right now, we're just gonna sand away at what we can because we're waiting on parts and we have sandpaper and an air compressor, so that's what we're gonna do. We found a whole lot of ugly under this brake light. There are some layers of Bondo on top of rust, so we'll address whatever's going on. Here comes sanding time. So now the sander's running, I'm gonna put you guys on time lapse, and this is what we'll be doing for the next little bit of time here. So that was a bunch of work. We taste a lot, you know. Our main goal here is just to smooth out all these lines, like the what's the word I'm looking for? The clear coat right here. See, when we get rid of them edges, we're just gonna smooth them out, you know, and resurface the entire surface with some new paint. Does the truck deserve to be sandblasted down and entirely go through? In my opinion, yes, every Chevy square body deserves that. But this is on a budget. We want it to look good for now so my brother can take it to prom, and it's his buck. So this is what we're doing. His truck, his money. So this is our style, taking it easy and going as quick as we can. So on that, we're gonna go change the taste in our mouth so we don't get no more dust. We're gonna go have a warm snack, so we'll be back. So our warm snack is over. It lasted a little longer than we intended to, and the sun is dang going down. We're losing our daylight and our warmth. So it's starting to get chilly out there. I think we're gonna wrap it up for a day. But I forgot to mention earlier that we're starting off with some 80 grit to smooth out our lines. And that's why this little section's not really sanded, because we're not worried about right there, you know? We'll come back with the 120 and get everything else on the next round. But that's it for today. We'll be back on it tomorrow. Okay, so we're back to sanding on this bad boy today. And I brought my little goodie, my little eraser wheel, because we got these little vinyl protectants for these that didn't really help much, and the sander gummed up pretty bad, so I figured this would be a better use. And if you haven't seen me use this before, I made a own special little video on this thing, removing a sticker on my back window, and I did say you can use it on paint. So here's a little proof that I could use this on paint, even though this is bad paint. It'll still prove something that I didn't ruin paint. You know what I mean? Okay. So that's our goal, is to remove that little thing and get this side the rest of the way done with our 80 grit. Maybe move on to the other side, do 80 grit. Maybe we'll just stay on this side and just do 120, you know? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Now I would say that this little, whatever you call these things, would probably be the toughest thing that I've ever had to erase with one of these. And man, it still worked out pretty good. Look at this. There's a little left, but the sander will take care of the rest. So I feel good about it. And Grandpa chose to come over here to the other side, start working on the 80 over here. Looks like we're gonna have a little work right around this door lock here. It's all cracked out, so most likely rusted underneath that Bondo. But that's just the start of the passenger side here. We'll get into more as we get into more. So the air compressor's just working its little booty off back there. But Grandpa switched over to the 120 on this one. And you can just already see all these lines start to spread out and fade out together. So I think we're headed down the right track. See this door, we haven't even touched. It's still 80 grit. So these lines will start to spread and fade. Yeah. So with the air compressor running as hard as it is, we're just gonna have to take a few extra warm snacks, and this is one of those moments where we're just gonna let her fill up, cool down, so it's warm snack time, you know? This is how she's coming out so far. We'll close up. So that's a whole lot of sanding. We've had it for the day. I think we're about to wrap it up. We did do one thing though. We took the seat out. It's leaning on the wall over here. And I took the seat out right now because it's supposed to snow in the next day or two, more maybe 2 to 3 days. And I don't like to come out and play in the snow. I've lived in Colorado my entire life, and I don't do snowboarding, don't do skiing, but oh well. I don't like to go out and play in the snow, so I'm probably gonna stay home and make up a nice cool little seat cover for that seat. So I'm gonna take that home with me today and work on that over the next couple days. And yes, I'll bring you guys along because I got a cool idea and I hope it'll work. So if I fail, you guys gotta watch. And if I succeed, you guys gonna have to give me a thumbs up, all right? So with everything being said, that's gonna be our day. We're gonna pack it up, come back another day. So it's been a little longer than a few days. The snow lasted a little longer and it was colder a little longer than we expected. But the seat is done, so that's good. That'll be coming up in an upcoming week's video, you know, because Cody don't know about it yet. So I don't want to show him online what the seat looks like before he gets to see it in person. So that'll be one of the last parts I show about this truck. But today our focus is getting this hood off so we could put our aircraft stripper on it, and then get the bed off so we can start thinking about our cab corners, cutting them out. Maybe we'll get that far, probably not. That side's
Here, go ahead and finish this one up.
So we brought our hood over here, you know, to ventilate the stuff out of our work area. And it's kind of square body central in here. Before we strip this thing, and I'm kind of forgetful, so I'm taking my bolts that I took out of the hood here, and I'm just gonna screw them in a few threads in the hood, and they should stay, you know. And can you see it from down here? Just a few threads. They're all in there. Now I shouldn't forget where my bolts are or what bolt goes where, because they're somewhat in the right place, and I can still continue and forget about it. So I don't know if you can see this, but this is the chemical we're going to use to get this all nasty tape, whatever that crap is. All right, we're going to give her a shot. And I read the old instruction direction thing to tell you what to do, and you know, it's pretty simple. Just put it on, wipe it around with a chemical resistant brush that we don't have, but that's okay. And then let sit for 20 to 45 minutes. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put it on, let it sit for 20 to 45 minutes, and do something else over there. Yeah, here we go. See what it does, right?
Oh, yeah, very good.
Oh, she's thick.
Yeah.
With 2 C's. It says one direction only, huh?
Yeah.
Does that mean I can go back and forth, or does that just mean...
Watch your shirt. Do not want that on you. Now it smells like it's going to come. It smells like a paint in the car. There you go. Need another dabble over here. Yeah, just this little backside here. It's already killing that black like crazy, look at that. This is peeling that black off that same thing there. I'm gonna whip that tape. Just please whip that tape. We're gonna do this brush in the meantime. Do this other side real fast, or just set it on the hood there? But yeah, we could just do the whole thing. It's still gonna be done. Look at that fucking burn this brush out. Come back down, melt it away. It'll be kind of cool. Let's throw that on the video. Look what it did to this non-chemical resistant. And that's why it says use this one. This way. Yeah, that's how we left the cabinet. Dad says it's not the yard shit. Just kind of sticks some nasty black poly or something off cabinets and took all the doors out and just slopped them. Just like that. Where else is a little dry? Right here? Okay. Eat, baby, eat. Yeah. There we go. And then...
So, it looks like the most nastiest stuff, but it seems to be just wrinkling this black spray paint right off in no time. We still have 20 to 40 minutes to wait, and look at it go. Sad part is we're not worried about the paint. We're worried about the dang sticker or tape or whatever is on all them louvers. Who thought to put that on there? That was a good idea, because I am not very happy with them. Now that we're waiting over there, we'll come task number 2, get this bed off. And while I was dilly farting around over there, Grandpa already dang got this bed cleaned out. He just works quick. I can't keep up with my camera sometimes, but that's all right, because the job needs to get done. We got them old wheels put back on real quick. Cause this one right here, I don't know if you can tell, she keeps going flat and driving us nuts. And that way if the old wheels get dirty before the new ones. But let's go check out that hood real quick. It's doing something. It's kind of getting it out of there. Oh yeah. That is some sticky tape and some gooey mess there. It's eating that paint off though. So I think we're headed in the right direction now. Boy, we've been scraping for a minute, man, and we still barely have a bunch of edges, so we're gonna goop it again. And we did this side heavier than this side, and this side definitely turned out better. So we're gonna give it all the juices. See that? That's how it's gonna go down. Gotta say, I'm taking a little bit of a whooping getting this bed off. We're only 3 bolts out of 6 deep, man. And I can't get her to move. She's just spinning away. Which it's these little round ones. They'll have the square peg hole. But the hole is rounded out for the thing. So it just spins away in there. See that? That ain't no good. That's not supposed to happen. So I think what we're gonna do is just take the grinder and take 2 slices, take 2 sides off so we can get a better lock with these bad boys. Before we get the grinding away though, we gotta go check on our hood over there we forgot about. So come with us, come on now. Let's see if it made a difference. I'm praying that it does, because this stuff sucks. Let's see here. Sorta. It's still lifting. Oh yeah, look at that goopiness just came right out of there. See that? So it's doing its job. This is gonna take maybe 1 or 2 more tries, I think.
Yeah.
That stuff did peel up a whole bunch of other little edges, so we're gonna give her another round 3. And we're gonna try and goop it up as much as we can on all that tape, and hopefully round 3 will be 3rd luck's a charm, or what's that? What do they say? 3rd time's the charm? Right, but we'll see. Now we can get back to this bolt here. Okay, we came back over here. Now we get back to this.
Okay. Nice. This thing's still nicely chipped. Alright. Trying to burn through your gloves.
Yeah. If that don't hold, don't know what woulda. Whenever you're ready.
Anytime, buddy. Go ahead. Yep.
Good?
Yeah. Jaws.
All right. All right, guys, I gotta admit something to you. I meant to video it, but I didn't because we got so wrapped up and we got a little further than we should have without you guys. And I feel a little terrible, but I know you guys are gonna live, hopefully. But we got the bed moved back, and you know, we were just cruising. We got them bolts sliced and diced, and then we came up with a plan on what we're gonna do to take it off. And it just went. We just went with it, and I forgot all about the camera. So here's what we got. Okay, we got the back of the bed still on the frame to hold her up. Whew, I'm a little out of breath from carrying this heavy thing, me and Grandpa over there. Just the two of us. This isn't the short bed. It's a long bed. It's a little heavier. We should have had 2 more dudes to make it easier on ourselves. But anyway, we got the jack stands on the back side here. Just on the little cross member that goes from side to side that bolts to the bed. That's gonna hold her up for a little bit till we can get these cab corners taken care of. And I got stuff to take care of. Grandpa's got stuff to take care of today. So that's the end of today. See you later, warm day. All right, YouTubies, so I thought that I wouldn't make it back in time. So you're in luck. It's still daylight out. We still got some stuff to do to this hood. And while I was gone, Grandpa was scraping away and got half-ish, a third-ish, somewhere in that range. But he got a lot done. And looks like these first 2 rows are ready for one more try. One more soaking. Even this 3rd row. One more soaking. And I think this stuff is a goner, finally. Which I'm hoping so, because man, I don't want to do this no mo. This scraping and back and forth. But you gotta do what you gotta do for your brother, because you love him and stuff. I'm gonna put you guys just on the time lapse real quick, and me and Grandpa are just gonna scrape away and then goopy doopy again once more. And then maybe scrape again today and clean up and see how it looks. So just sit tight. Finally getting somewhere, people. Finally getting somewhere. Look at these. We got 3 rows on each side, mostly cleaned up, which is good because we're about out of the dang aircraft stripper. So, dang it. We got 1 row on each side to get the metal tape off, and then maybe just enough dippings to get the glue off. These ones, these 3 and these 3 here, we got soaking again. We got another layer on there. It's just a lot thinner because we're almost out, and we don't need as much now that most of that tape's gone. So we're winning. Now it's time to sit down and have a warm snack real quick. Let the stuff soak. Let our arms cool off. It only took dang 6 coats of that dang aircraft stripper to go, but we still need like a can of WD-40 to get the rest of it off. Holy cow. Look at this. See? All that hazing, look, that's like still some goop. So we were curious and we got the WD out and we did this whole first section. Look how shiny it is. She looks good, boy, woo! I can't wait to see this hood all finished. There's still some chunks, you know, but that's why we need the WD. So we could just hose it on there and, you know, plastic scraper it off. And so I came back and WD-40 this hood real good. And I wiped it down with a rag. And I WD-40'd it again and came back with my scraper and came back and got all these little chunks. See, I missed a couple here and there. But one more run through and this thing looks good. I also gave her a good sanding, you know, so you guys can see what it'll look like getting ready for Bondo and paint process. We're good to go. So that's a wrap for the day. See you soon. But today, our goal is cab corners. We got a brand new little piece here. We're not going to use the entire piece, all right? You can see that we don't have much to deal with here. So I think I'm going to cut it in this range-ish and bring it round and square as much as possible. That's the goal. But I'm going to start with the old flapper disc. This thing, the flapper disc here, I'm going to start with this on there and kind of make sure that there's no more rust underneath what I can't see and it's not spread. That, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So I'm going to flap discer and then I'm going to mark it and then I'll cut it and I'll mark my new piece and cut it a little bigger so I can shimmy her down to where it should fit just right. And then we'll tack and tack and tack and tack and tack and tack over again, okay? All right. Oh, my glovers. I need my glovers. I don't want to lose no finger today. Right. So I think I'm all right. It looks pretty good here, right where I kind of want to cut her. Doesn't look like there's much rust above where I want to go, especially right here where I was worried. So we're just gonna slice and dice her around here, you know. And then the piece that we cut off, hopefully we can use somewhat as a template on our new piece to cut out a little bigger. You know what I'm saying? Gave myself a line real quick so I don't wander all over the place. Well, that chunk's gone. She cut out real nice, easy. And the spot welds had not stuck, so it really kind of fell out after I cut it. This seam sealer right here was the only thing really holding it on. And here's the piece. Kind of see it. We do got a little bit of rock on the inner cab corner. I don't know what we're gonna do about that right now offhand, but we're gonna, you know, clean this up, get rid of as much rust in here as we can, and maybe put a little patch spot in there, or maybe just leave it. I don't know yet. You know, this is kind of a budget build. This is how I intend to make my new piece here, is get these lines to line up as much as possible. And then I'll draw a line here around the front and all that. And it'll be a little bigger than the piece here, but that's better than cutting it too short and filling a gap. So we'll trim her down with the flap disc and slowly get her down to right perfect, and then we'll tack her in first. So we got our piece cut out here. We got our piece cut out of our big piece there. And first test fit, I ain't even seen it yet. Oh, snap. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Looks like we're a little big here. We'll have to file that down a little bit, make her skinnier so she'll set back a little bit, and then we'll see what she looks like. So it took a little bit more shaving than I expected, but that's always good, okay? A little shaving on a couple more areas that I didn't see, but look how good this thing fits up there now. Just perfect, all right? Well, if you look at the back side there, we'll have to do some tacking and then some smashing, and then some tacking and some smashing, or just the heat alone will get it to lay down right where we need it and get that corner a little sharper than it is. Alrighty guys, so I finally got my piece ready. I got some holes drilled in it for some tack welds in the back, the bottom, and the inner side in the door there. So now it's time to weld her in. And I'm using this little Harbor Freight welder here because that's what I got, and that's gonna do the job. So far, I think it's come along pretty good. I got it all tacked up. So just keep letting her cool down. And I had to do a little bit of minor adjustments here and made my welds a little goopy. But that's just a little more grinding, unfortunately. So been a little bit of grinding going on, a little couple more tacks and a little more grinding. And man, she's turning out real nice. You know, the welds are coming out pretty smooth once you grind them down. What do they say? The grinder will make you the welder you're not. So I'm gonna let it cool down for a few minutes, go take a warm snack, and then come back and do some more tacks and probably rinse and repeat. After many tacks, many tacks and quite a few grind sessions, you know, it looks great. Now you can either love it or you can hate it. But guess what? I don't care either way because I feel good about it just because I did it myself. And I hope my brother likes it. A little Bondo, it'll hide what I can't grind away. I don't want to go through the metal and then have to, you know, I don't want thin metal. So Bondo, this one's complete to the other side. So I came ahead and jumped to the other side here, and I'm a little further than I showed you last time because you've seen quite a bit. But I got the one piece taken out, cut out, drilled out, and this side looks way better. Less holage that we have to deal with on the inner cab corner. I also got my new piece here, and I got my line marked out, and I gave her an extra 1/8 inch, 16th inch, you know, in the variance, so I can fit it right, so it fits perfect like the other side did. And to make sure my line is right, you don't want to cut too much off, so it's always better to leave more, right? You can come back and cut that off later. So I think for only my second time doing these cab corners in my lifetime that I'm pretty good. I'm confident enough to make it look good.
Y'all tried to bite you, huh?
Yeah. Slice and dice that bad boy right up. So now we test fit about 15, 20 to 100 times or maybe more, you know, whatever it takes to get the job done right. Another side welded in. Now it ain't perfect, but it's good enough and the job is done. Alright YouTubies, it's another day working on Cody's square body here, and we're gonna attack the bedside in the wheel well. It's just rotted away here. All right. And we ended up getting this whole big piece, which is the whole lower piece, but we only really need this much. So we're gonna slice and dice similar pieces. So I decided we're just gonna cut this little line that you can barely see on the camera, just straight down to make it easy. We only got, we're getting a little somewhere. I got my piece marked out here. And the piece that we got was a little short of where our rust hole was. So what I did is I cut a little sleever out of some extra, and I ended up doing this. I put a little bend in it and then another little bend. Which, funny fact, this little straight piece right here in the wheel well is exactly the width of a pair of electrical linemen's. And it made it easier to bend for me, because these literally fit perfect in there. So that was done, and now I got the face tack. Well, I welded the whole front because it went good, but tack this on and bend her across. Cut this piece out a little behind my line so the truck has a bunch of meat, and I can either shave the truck down or shave my piece down, and then we'll fit a million times like we did them cab corners. Tack her in again, and tack her in 100 other times, and we'll be good to go on this side. I'll tell you, body work or sheet metal work, it is tedious, all right? This little bzz, grr, bzz, grr. Oh well. But besides my complaining, this thing's actually coming out pretty nice. Starting to disappear. Some of the welds are disappearing. A little better in the cab corners, but I don't know if that's coming with skill or just probably skill, you know, because you got to get better as you go, right? The first one should always be worse than the last one, but that's me. Well, it's been quite a bit more time, a lot more tacking, a lot more grinding, and I think I'm about to call it for today. But here's one more look. I got a couple of these lines just about gone. I did get a little too hot in this section, so it caved in a little bit, but we'll fix that. Man, looks pretty good from this side, even with that sun glaring. Looks real good from this side too. Looks pretty even with the front. We've been hard at work for the last couple days now, and I kind of put you guys on the standoff because you guys watched me do so much metal work already. I didn't think you wanted to watch this one and the couple other little patches we had, but I can show you what I did over the last couple days. But I got the driver's side done. You watched me do the passenger side the other day. I got the same measurement from wheel well bottom to wheel well bottom on both sides. So I think it's correct. It doesn't look goofy. That's what matters to us, all right? And me and Grandpa, he wasn't just standing around while I was doing metal work. So as I finished up, he started bondoing it. You can see that cab corner's got a little coat of some fun on there. And we had a little pinhole here. That got fixed, all right? We had to recreate the lip here on this fender. That was not fun. We got that cab corner done, bondoed up a little bit. Grandpa got a little bondo there. And that one just looks so good with that bondo. It just held all my, hid. Jeez, I can't talk. It just hid all the ugly welds I had. Perfect. Now we do got some more rust we gotta get away here, but that's not cut the metal out and put new ones in, all right? The only metal cutting we got left is this dented old tailgate we got laying on the ground next to Grandpa's good looking old 50 Chevy panel truck. Just look how good that thing looks sitting there. So once we get on that tailgate, we get her finished up. We're just gonna slice the backside open, give her a dent pulling, maybe just bang on it with some hammers a little bit, you know? And we'll do the same thing, weld it back together, bondo it, and then it's continuously sanding for the next day or so to get it right where we're ready to be able to put some primer on her, all right? That's it, just sanding and more sanding. There is one thing for certain though. I am excited to put the seat back in this thing. I just can't wait to see what it looks like inside the truck, let alone with the new paint job. So here's that tailgate I was talking about. You can see we got a pretty big old dent here. Not too great, but tailgates are expensive, so we're gonna fix this one. And she's definitely not straight. She got a big old wobbler in her. So I've never really done a tailgate before, but I think I'm just gonna cut a slice and dice, a square, maybe a U in there, and we're gonna try and pop that dent out and hopefully get her straight, you know? Here's the hole I needed to be able to get this access to our dents here. And well, I needed to cut another one. So there was another dent in this area I needed to push through, and I just couldn't get enough leverage from this side. So what do you do but cut another hole? But the good news is, let me roll this thing up here. Oh, you can't even tell from this side. Hold on now. Look how good that looks now. Way straighter than we started. We may have a couple holes to weld, but that's all right. This side looks way better. The round is coming back together. We had to do some banging right here to be able to get this to swoop back in. You know, it's fine for what it was. This is not as bad. We still got some work to do, but I think it's about warm snack and lunchtime, so we're just gonna sit down, enjoy this day for a minute, and then we'll get back to work. Now, after a whole lot of smashing with a hammer and prying on it and trying to twist on it, we finally got this tailgate looking halfway decent. I got my squares that I cut out tacked in because I feel like the tailgate's good enough for what we did. Give you a good look at how she looks. We still have a little bit of a dent there, but way easier to deal with. She's almost as straight as an arrow. Can you see it? Looks good, doesn't it? So I'm gonna finish up these little weldy welds real quick with the little crappy welder and just keep on plucking away so we get this tailgate sanded down and bondoed, and that means no more body work for this truck. All right, so we can move on to primer and paint. All right, that's the goal. While I've been welding away on this though, Cody showed up, so that's great, you know. But they've been sanding away. Grandpa did some more bondo, another layer. Don't worry, I got a little section for you guys to see. Cody started sanding away on this side, and she's about got a little rusty issue we got to deal with here. We'll get through it. The cab's looking really good. The bed, this side hadn't even hardly been touched at all. We did a little here, a little there. Plenty of work to do. So I'm gonna quit talking. I'm gonna get back at it again. There, Grandpa over here mixing up some bondo. Alex learning. He wants to know.
Yeah, that is. It's not as easy as it looks, but I still am doing it.
Yes, you are.
It's like the edge that only works with it.
Well, this is the Bondo we chose to use, mostly because it says easy sanding and easy spreading, and another good reason is because it was 45 bucks on the Amazoner when everything else was like 80 for a gallon. So look at that stuff. It's cheap, it's easy to work with so far, and really easy to sand. One real quick thing I forgot to run through is we had just used this Harbor Freight DA sander. Nothing special. We also got our Harbor Freight GMC grinder from who knows how long ago. And this is probably the one tool that we used that wasn't from Harbor Freight during this. It's just a Milwaukee orbital hand sander. And we can't forget Big Trusty, the air compressor back here. She likes to stay hot, but she keeps on running. I'd like to say yesterday was a pretty productive day. We got our tailgate welded up, and today we've been at it all day, sanding away. Grandpa got a couple coats of Bondo. He got one good one on the tailgate here to fix all our little dents and dings. But this one looks pretty good. This one just needs a little spot filler to fill pinholes. The cab corners just looking really good. Bedside's looking good. Grandpa went ahead and got the top rail. He put another skim on the rear here. That needs a little sanding. I did get a little welding on this corner done today. Same boat here, need a little sanding. Little sanding, needs a little sanding. Pretty much this whole side needs to be attacked by sanding pretty hardcore. This cab corner looking pretty good. Maybe one more skim, some sanding, maybe not. You know, I don't know exactly what's going on here, but I know this needs to be sanded still. This is still shiny. That was forgot about. This fender looks good. We got some stuff on the roof to take care of still. I got this welded in today. I didn't show it off because you've been watching metal work for days now. Got some rust to take care of here. And then some Bondo. Some shaping. Our goal was to try and get primer on this bad boy tomorrow, because it's supposed to be the nicest day for the next 10 days, but well, I don't think we're gonna make it. I think we still got a couple more coats of Bondo that we need to do in a couple smaller areas. I can't say everywhere because everything was done kind of sporadic because of the way it was done. So I don't think we're gonna make the primer tomorrow. That's gonna put us off a couple more days because it's supposed to rain, and I don't know if we really want to do it on a rainy or a windy day, but if it happens, it happens. So we'll get the sanding that we need to get done over the next couple days while it's windy and wet out, and do some more Bondo work in that time or whatever we need to do, and then we'll be priming it here in the next couple days. So I'm all alone this morning, and I just been sanding and sanding. Grandpa's off doing a bid for another job, so I'm just here sanding away today. So he's back from his bed and he's helping out. That feels good. So now, two guys instead of one. Now, a little sticker removal. One more coat of Bondo. Yep, back to sanding. More sanding. And some more. So in this video we did a lot of prepping, we did a whole lot of sanding and body work and metal work. You watched us strip some paint on the hood over there. Yeah, that's right, I didn't forget about the hood. And a whole bunch of stuff to this truck, and the paint's not even ready yet. We still have a whole bunch of sanding to go, but sanding's boring to watch, so I'm just gonna let this video start to die off here, and we'll do a new video for the spraying of the primer and the paint itself, because that's a whole lot of sanding in itself too. Here's a pretty good overlay, or a good look at the truck. Pretty smooth. Man, I gotta say, that turned out really good. So if I kept you interested during this whole entire video, please give me a like on the old video button down there. And subscribe to the channel if you want to see this thing get painted and see the seat that goes in it. And, you know, we'll be doing some gaskets on this thing. There's more to come. So subscribe to watch more, all right? Thanks for watching. And don't forget to stay motivated.